All right. Basically, the rescue squad last meeting asked us to give them a one-time $7,500 to put toward the truck that they've got to pull their trailer with now. And they brought us a picture of it. It's already striped up and everything. And then that would allow them to also get some more equipment, another Jaws of Life that would cut the new post in the late model cars. And then the other one that came last time that we needed to talk about was the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce has made a request for us to give them $10,000, and that's up to $50. And Kevin here is have you got the Chamber of Commerce's things for Kevin?
Apparently I don't have anything for you, Kevin.
I brought one, but I didn't.
They also gave us what the counties around us are giving to their, yeah. Do you want it? Let Kevin have that.
That's showing the different counties that are closest to us.
How much they fund. The Chamber of Commerce basically is funded with what Woodbury gives them, and then our $50, and then all their dues paying members, of course, and then they have a car show in the fall, and it's been rained out one year, I know, and they would like to be able to work harder to market Cannon County.
I hate it when they compare us to,
Clay or the cow?
well, I mean, there's no way you can compare us to DeKalb County as far as
That's right.
the revenues that they bring in.
Well, I wish everybody could have heard their,
I'm sure it was borderline spectacular.
getting on, and they,
$10,000 is
oh, that was their request.
pretty spectacular too.
That's the only other one that I wanted to review from last week and make sure that you had the information on it. And we also, at the end of the meeting last week, we received the Election Commission's budget. And we'll go over it tonight. And if we have any questions, here's Stanley to try to answer them. We'll start on line 515101. The administrator, $52,865. The assistant is $20,000. And it says 30 hours a week at salary is what it says. And then the next line item is overtime, $1,000. The next line item is for the election commission members themselves to their meetings and working on election day and going to the state meeting, $5,500. The next line item is the workers for the elections in August and November 2012, election day, early voting, absentee, and support. That's $30,000. The in-service meeting for the tech support and the training on the new voting machines is $3,500, line item 196. Social Security, retirement and insurance and Medicare are all listed there in 4 different lines. Communication, line 307, $3,800. What was it last year?
42,
Okay.
estimated 3460. That's kind of
That's what they've spent, 3460.
That's what they've spent. I'm looking at this revenue that she gave us tonight.
Here it is. You got another one, Greg?
All right, the next line item is legal notices. Put the ballots in the paper and the times and hours of the voting days. The sample ballots printed to display on the walls of the polling places. The maps, printing the maps for the precinct lines comes to a total of $6,000. And then contracted services, $14,185. That's miscellaneous services, Pitney Bowes for printer, probably Hargrove, Microvolt, and this, who is Dave Embry a company?
He's our off-site consultant, keep all our security.
Okay,
So
that's a person's name then, that's the one that's assigned to y'all.
It's Embry Consulting.
Okay. $3,000 for Embry Consulting. All that contracted services totals up $14,185. Maintenance and repair on computer hardware and voting machines, $2,000. Postage, $4,000. Printing, stationery, and forms, $2,500. Travel, $3,300. Custodial supplies, $250. Office supplies, $3,000. Office equipment, $2,500. And that's a total request of $16,379.
That's another 65,000.
What did I say?
16.
Oh, yeah, 165.
I was fixing to say I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'd already got to looking at the 19 over there. And 19, this comes out of the state, right? When we're certified, we get 19,530 back from the state.
Yes, we do.
Are there any questions or comments about Kevin?
What made the maintenance agreements go up so much? The actual 10-11 number was 11,736, and 11 and 12 number is at least already at 16,668.
He's talking about line item 334.
We spent more this year than we budgeted, so.
We went over budget on line 334 this year,
Yes, we did.
and
I was
but you
asking,
think
I was
you can
asking
hold it?
why.
We've got 2 elections coming up this year.
Okay. You think 14 then will do it this time, though? It won't take 16?
But is the elections coming up this year, why it went over $5,000 last year? That's what I'm
With the
asking.
Provisional ballots, we had a lot of training to do. We had a lot of stuff we had to bring in to make us compatible with the state. They audited us and they said we did a commendable job, what it cost us.
Okay. Todd, got any questions?
Nope.
Got any more, Kevin?
Yeah, I don't feel like.
I've got one more. If we got 2 people on salary, why do we need overtime? Line item, 187.
They cover back to 30 hours a week. We do our training during election when we're doing early voting.
If she's salary at 20,000, salary, so there should be no overtime.
She works flat 30 hours. There was agreement the election commission made with her.
30 hours a week salary. Is she working hourly or working salary?
I had her on salary. They changed her to, on hourly, they changed her to salary.
Well, I wish we had somebody from the election commission.
My question was, if she is on salary, why do we need an overtime line item? And the answer is to do the early voting stuff?
The training
Okay.
that is completely separate from anything else.
But do we,
Salaries are daily work hours, and training is at night when we have to do it.
my wife is on a salary, works for the same county that she works for.
Right.
And when she stays over 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours because there's court going on up here,
And don't
her
make a
check
bit of
don't
difference.
change.
That's right.
No.
All
Now,
right.
is that the is that the policy we're gonna take up in the county? We're gonna start paying overtime on salaried employees?
No, I don't think
Because
so.
I think it'd be a great idea myself. At my house, it would be nice for her to get paid extra,
You're
but she has to stay.
assuming that just because you put somebody on a salary that you can work them all you want to, that don't work.
Well, that don't work if you
end
go
up
over
with that
40
money.
hours.
No,
but
there's-
We're talking about 30-hour salary. We're not talking about a,
She's working 30 hours.
That's right.
any other questions? James? Any more?
I don't know, are we doing anything with it, or are we just looking at it?
We're just gonna look at it tonight. I'd like to have when we just go to doing our final look at it, we need to have more than just 4 of us here. It's my
Me
opinion.
too.
Okay. Be sure that the ones that aren't here get a copy of this. Okay. Next, let's go to the industrial board. You got it? Or the park, industrial park, that yeah. Yes.
We got the budget that was actually approved by the IDB.
Okay, that's fine. Diane gave us, is this what he's got?
No, he's got something.
Okay, if you got something else, bring it on. And we got Randall Reed here, he's a member of it, and so is Doug Bowdry. And
Dean's back here anymore, right?
yes, I see, yes. Give me one, Doug, I passed mine down the road.
That's what they're asking.
All right. All right. Their local revenue is for leases and rentals is $92,400. And then the audit services, $766. And consultants, $4,000. Are y'all thinking about hiring somebody to help recruit?
Well, it's, the consultants is, we've got, by state law, any tax abatements have to be in writing, and we only have one. They're all, the rest of them are handshake deals, which violate state law. So we're putting 4,000 in to fix that, make it legal.
Do we not have signed contracts with the people that we got?
What people? What, you talking about
The
the
people that pay us rent, that's $92,400.
We do with Crane.
Okay.
Yeah, the others are not, but they're not, the deal was, this new company didn't pay for a certain length of time. Now, this company over here, what's it called? It recycles.
PC disposal.
They pay their rent, and now we don't have a contract with them.
Well, how do they know how much your rent
Well,
is?
we just,
You told them?
Industrial Board agreed to account.
Okay. Is it gonna cost $4,000 to get that, you think, Mr. Reed?
We think so. We
Okay.
may be able to leave it, we think so.
Okay. And if it doesn't cost that much, that money will be still in there?
That's right.
Okay. Dues and memberships, $20, that's the same as last year. Maintenance and repair on buildings, $5,000, that's the same as last year. Legal services, that's a new line item. The last time we had any legal services for it was in 10 and 11, it was $500. And I think that's $5,000 now.
Like to engage attorney to do an actual written pilot, which they don't have. I mean, this thing is, and when I say they, the IDB, the previous IDB didn't do any of this stuff. I mean, they never had a forum, so they didn't do it. So we're just we're picking up where we started.
Well, they had a quorum a few times. I wouldn't say they never had
One
one.
in 8 years.
The utilities, it's all paid for with other stuff, isn't it? The next line item is trustees commission, $700. Total
Mark, you skipped travel.
travel,
It's right under maintenance and repair.
5,000.
oh, I did, didn't I? 5,000. I have to adjust my bifocals here. Why do we need 5,000 in travel?
Going to, we've got Mr. Vance, he, with his job, he does quite a bit of work with automotive suppliers.
Mhm.
And he's got several contacts up in the Detroit area. And of course, you know about Detroit, you keep on news, and everybody wants to get out of there. And he's hoping to be able to, go up and talk with some companies that might be wanting to come down here and relocate. But of
Okay.
course, he doesn't need to do that on his own dime.
That's exactly right.
In addition to that, there will be some seminars in this area we'd like to attend to help recruit.
Okay.
Hopefully we tie ourselves into the state as they're recruiting in their little boxes in the industrial recruiting parts.
Mhm.
Become a part of that.
Okay. And then the principal on the Cumberland Molded Products Building note, 45,000.
Those are two notes we've got.
Is that two of them? Okay. 45,539, that's the same as last year. And then the other note, on the other line item is the interest, 13,634, same as last year. Total expenditure, 65,000. I know, excuse me, 80,659, and last year was 65,000. So y'all are proposing to spend about $15,000 more to try to recruit somebody else in here. And that's the purpose of the industrial board to begin with. Any questions?
What's the $18,000 other equipment under the actual 10 and 11?
Actual
790?
10 and 11? I don't know.
What was that? Please?
That's where they bought some machinery from Cumberland Mold.
Okay.
It's still in that
Where's
building.
it at?
Right there.
Right there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's where they bought the chiller and compressors and all the,
Everything was in the building.
everything in
Yeah.
the crane.
No.
No,
it's
in
Cumberland
Cumberland.
Mold.
Cumberland Mold, the overhaul, the crane, overhead crane.
Oh, the overhead
Crane. I thought you
crane.
said
Oh,
it
I thought you
crane.
meant
Overhead crane.
Yeah, all right. So that's got,
What's the other charges, 599? Last year.
So that was,
Reason I'm asking is, you know, you made that $5,000 comment there, but then
we had to pay
58,120 is
some sort of legal.
$33,000 less than it was actual year ago,
2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah. So I'm,
Some sort of attorney or somebody up there.
the utilities dropped 17.5. Is that where we were catching the,
That was when the building was empty. I'm thinking, I can't tell
Yeah.
you for sure.
That was, you asking about that?
yeah,
That was an agreement, once again, the IDB didn't do that. That was an agreement to pay somebody's utilities.
To keep them running.
I don't know.
an agreement to pay Cumberland's utilities? Was it
No,
building empty?
Cumberland went
It
out.
was one of the people.
So we paid the utilities after they went out?
I can't answer what, no, I mean, was it for an empty building or was the 17 for a new company?
I can't really remember, but it was
I think
either
it
them or
was-
PC
See, it sat
Disposal.
empty for a while,
Uh-huh.
and we paid utilities on it at the time to
That's
keep it
right.
freezing. I think that's what it is.
Any other questions on the industrial board's proposed budget? Well, I want to compliment you, Mr. Reed, for taking hold and trying to get Mr. Vance. I mean, Mr. Vance has been working to get business down here for more than 20 years. More than 20 years, isn't that right?
That's safe to
Yeah, and he's got a vested interest in the automotive industry, and he knows people in it, and I hope that he's successful, and maybe we can get some more good paying jobs here that people don't have to drive to Smyrna or wherever.
We're working to that end.
That's fine. That's good. Any other comments from either one of y'all? Any questions? James?
No, sir.
Todd? Any more, Kevin? Tony, you got any comments on this industrial board? Doug? Well, I appreciate 3 of you being here too. I certainly do. Would you like to comment in? Well, we hope that we'll see some benefits from additional activity. Thank y'all for coming. You're welcome to stay as long as you want to. The next thing we'll go to is the debt service. We'll give Todd one of those.
Sorry, I just left you out.
No, I was late.
Got so many papers.
I was always late. We try to get you out. Yeah, it's all right, I don't blame you.
All right, debt service. How many cents we put in debt service?
2 now.
Cut 2 now.
From 4 to 2.
Went from 4 to 2 last year then. Let's see, I'm gonna write that at the top of this, 2 cents on top of that, and 4 cents on top of that. Okay, so 10 and 11, we were putting 4 cents in it. You see that reflected with the 81,950. You got it? Kevin, have you got it? Give him the yellow one. It's the yellow, yeah, it's a single page by itself with a yellow highlight.
Now
All right, 10 and 11, we were putting 4 cents in there, and that was 81,950 that year. Last year, we took 2 out of it and dropped it down to 37,401. Now this year, the estimate is that 2 cents will bring in 38,500. Is that a little low estimate?
I'll just kind of base it on what came in this year.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be a little.
Yeah, because what's a penny supposed to bring in?
20,082.
20,082. Okay, that's fine.
Only thing worries me about all these estimates is Donald can tell you he's taken a lot of things like trailers and stuff off the list. I don't, it's an estimate. Hopefully it'll hold.
Taking them off how?
Tell them, Mark.
Okay, I've had a write-off a lot this past week or 2 on the review, like where I found mobile homes has been moved out, houses been burned and stuff, which I probably took off over $200,000 worth of bagging.
Okay.
I mean, it's just something that we've missed, that at this point, we can even find something new out there, I can't add it on because of the, equalization vote doesn't make it or whatever.
Okay.
But if it's been moved or whatever,
All right.
We have a lot of houses that we found just depreciated where people moved out and left, where we're having to cut down maybe a third of that.
Continuing on down the line, the other things, the local option, the wheel tax goes in there. I'm skipping those others, you see what they are. The wheel tax is $575,000. Litigation tax for the jail is $50,000. The total local number is $673,060. And then the 911 reimbursement on the loan is $5,541. And then the Board of Education puts in $250,000 each year toward the last building program. And that agreement goes until the note is paid off for that. Total estimated revenues, $928,601. And then principal on the notes is $135,000. And $97,000 for the jail. Total of $232,000. Principal on the schools, $509,000. Interest on $16,000 on the first line. The jail interest is $20,000 for a total of $36,000. And then $40,000 worth of interest on the schools. Go to the back page. Fees on the jail loan, $5,000. Trustees commission, $7,300. Fees on the other school loan is $40,000. Total expenditures, $869,300. And it's estimated that we'll be in the black on debt service by $59,301, leaving a fund balance a year from now of $2,421,185. And as I do every year, I'm going to remind everybody that the wheel tax has a sunset to it. The biggest line item on the whole thing is $575,000 wheel tax. You see that? The wheel tax will has a sunset on $40 of it, and it was begun to be collected a few months, almost a year, it may have been a year, before the first payment was due on the school notes. So it will sunset about a year before the last school note is paid. And so you got to have it in there.
You know what year that is?
I don't remember. It's
When they built all the
20 and
additions,
20, it's 20 or 25.
It wasn't a 20-year note, but
I think one was 20, one was 25. The elementary schools was a 25-year note.
Okay.
and that's the big one. That's the $40. The high school was the $10, but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't sunset.
But the $10
sunset.
wheel tax does not never
No,
sunset.
But the 40 does. What year did they add on to all the schools?
Oh, it was
2000.
99 or something, or 2000.
Well, whatever year it was.
I'm
they don't-
thinking it's around 2001 or 2. I may be wrong.
I think one of those notes was dated 99. but
Well, we have to tighten up.
All right, 2002.
That is.
Well, that year, it'll eat into the fund balance there. That's what,
Yeah, that last year. it'll
that
get
last
into
year,
it.
it'll eat into it more than it has been done.
Take it all.
No, it won't take the whole
What-
$2 million.
Well, no, it won't take it, but if you've got that big a fund balance in it, that's something.
You know, you're gonna
Yeah.
be,
If you're still at 2.4.
you're gonna be
you'll
missing
all right.
that, if it brings in if $50 brings in $575, then, $415,000 of that is gonna be missing that last year.
Right, right.
So you should be at 2 if everything stayed the same.
Okay.
On 612, principal on other loans payable bill. Why is the difference, such a difference in this year versus last year and then and next year?
On the interest?
Principal.
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 Well, I just go by the amortization schedule, and that's what I had on there.
Well, I mean,
So,
You talking about the 378
yeah, I
versus
mean, we
97?
paid, well, right, we paid
Well,
94,000
it's
last
principal,
year.
I would say you're paying less interest, and
more
more principal
principal.
every
Hey,
time.
Doug.
You see, it goes up every year.
When we voted 3 or 4 months ago to pay some of these notes off, is that on this line item 82,612?
For next fiscal year,
No, for the one we just now finished.
y'all did a budget amendment for it, it should be.
I know that. Is that why this line item is bigger?
which one are you talking about?
I gotta look at it.
I'll come over here and look at it then.
That's schools.
You're the one that talked Cindy paint it.
That's,
I'll take it.
Right here, Diane.
That's the only
I
school
know.
up
Y'all
there.
did.
I'm
that's
glad,
only schools. That more,
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, that's from where we
I
paid
didn't
off
want-
those
I didn't want
notes.
to tell
Yeah.
this right here. General principal.
And then
That's one of
these
those principal,
four-
other
these
loans
notes,
payable,
this
JLC
principal right
got-
here
The question is, why is
are
the
these loans that I got
378 here?
highlighted right there.
There's 94
The
there, and
ambulance
it's
service,
97 here.
courthouse,
Is that where we paid
jail
those left over?
renovation.
No.
That new one, which we don't have that one yet, but I just estimated that, and then that 59,000 one for the fire
It'd be
trucks.
no-
That's what's in that.
That's jail, the jail.
See, that's why it's so much more this year.
That's, no,
We paid off all
that's
those
loan
notes.
pool right there.
That's why- that's right.
It should be right here, it might just.
Which
y'all
means
might
it-
just
means
hit the
it-
wrong
that-
one. They just do a journal.
And honestly,
Just
okay.
unless it's-
Well, look at your total here, see, 668.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that's.
Depends on
That's the line.
what we can do.
Yeah.
Well, you won't have, it's still gonna be, they'll just adjust it, but I mean, it might.
it's probably that line there, Mark. See how much it went up going back
You don't-
down? That's part
You
of it
don't get to
right
pay,
there,
you
that
don't-
principal
don't
on
get rid of
notes.
some of this stuff.
That's where you paid off.
That 20-year
more than
deal.
like
Yeah.
that, boosted that
You
up.
won't
That's
have
part
it
of it. Now,
for
the
now.
378, I don't know what that is.
You know, when we paid that off, that's where it would be reflected here.
That's where.
Right, that's where they are.
That's what I'm wanting to know.
Yeah, that's loans right there for the jail.
Really don't.
Okay. Okay.
Give the people their money back.
Yeah, here's bigger interest right here. Jail, we got jail allowed, this is schools interest.
Yeah, there's your loan pool for the needed your money over to education.
450, and then this over here is fees on jail loan.
And those have gone
What's
down.
that?
That's your remarketing fees, your letter of credit, all that.
Right down this
It's holding about the same all the way across. The reason James asked the question is because this one was 668 here and it had been
All
232.
right, you gotta remember, that this is not,
Yeah.
this is not a total payment. This is not. a
Any
total
other
payment.
questions, anybody?
This is
On
part of the
debt
payment.
service?
And
As the budget committee,
jail, so
would y'all recommend
this is part of it.
remaining at 2 cents since we're
This, see, this one's lower, this one's higher. That's your principal.
putting $59,000 into
Every year, the
the
principal will go up.
fund balance
Down.
with our estimates?
Just about match it.
What do we gotta have,
Those two together make a payment.
well, it's 20 years
You know
away.
what I'm saying?
so-
Yeah.
No, it's not 29.
It's about 8 years.
Yeah,
Oh,
89.
I guess it is. Okay, I'm with you.
Probably
But we
10.
got plenty of it, because this is,
I know, yeah,
we're
so,
gonna be 415 short.
but I mean, we went up, estimated here, what, 39,
What line?
$60,000, yeah. Our estimated fund balance end of next year is $2,400,000.
Yeah.
So that's going up $70,000
Yeah,
or
right.
$60,000.
Right there, 59, 310. I think that's enough.
Was it too much? I mean, could it go to a penny?
Well, is this the fund that
We borrow from.
that we borrow from? If we need to borrow, if we need to move money in our
Okay.
account, and we move money at the beginning of the year,
But it has to be paid back by June 30th. Or
and so you see the total tax anticipation notes, 400,000.
400,000, that's all we borrowed this year, wasn't it?
Mike, is this the fund that'll be impacted when we pull the reach into their own budget and we have to do a tax anticipation
Yes.
note?
Hmm.
Yeah, we'll borrow
Well,
out of debt
if-
service,
For the beginning
Give
of
them
the,
operating
because they'll be
money.
on their own budget then.
and then when they get
And
their
then the
money,
animal
and they'll
service.
pay the
Yeah,
debt
well, I
service
mean,
back.
we'll borrow it, yeah, but I mean,
Right.
it should balance out.
Yeah, it will, but
Yeah.
that's where it'll come
That's
from.
what I thought.
So this
It's the
is
only place
a
we got
fund
that
balance
much.
for the county also.
Sure.
Yeah.
When you look at that, James, if we can keep it to where, or I think if we can keep it where it doesn't, it's not just growing, then you don't feel like you're getting money from the taxpayer that you don't need. But if it ain't going down, then you're holding your own and everything's, I sleep better with $2 million in there.
Well, I
No.
do too, but I mean, that's $2,400,000. That's what I'm saying. We're at 2 cents, so would 1 cent work?
Well, we had 2.7 actual number last year. 10,
Yes,
11.
Right. Okay.
And we.
I follow what you're saying.
We pulled that 2 cents, and that's part of why that pulled down. Another reason it pulled down is because we paid those notes off.
And we're buying three
How much?
three
300.
fire engines is
How
gonna
much
affect
was-
this.
Well, it'd be
That-
130,000
That's
over
right.
3 years.
Over, and that'll all come out. So, I mean,
Whatever.
And
there's
when-
enough in there for us to do business and keep
Keep in mind, you
things.
buy ambulances and fire trucks out of
Right.
that and anything capital project. But,
Now, will the money out of this to put the ambulance service on their own, will it come out here too? To
No.
get them started?
if you do that, they would.
If you do that.
But then as their money come in, you'd pay it, have to pay it back.
Yeah, but I mean, we need money though to
We
give them
gotta
to
make
start
sure
with,
we
though.
pay whatever we get out of there back before the end of the fiscal
Yeah.
year, because the state won't let us borrow anymore if we don't.
We'll have to decide whether we're gonna give them a set amount of tax money to pay for everything, or if we're gonna give them
Right.
this much money and we're gonna buy their trucks.
Yeah.
And if we do that, then we can buy the trucks and get a note out to come debt service and buy them.
All right. Any more questions on debt service? Okay. All been done for part. Now let's go to the drug fund.
I like the way
Hey,
Mark
Ricky, how
says that.
much more this year did you bring in on charges than you did last year? Diane said you brought in about 500,000 this year. No. So that new system's
Last year
paying
was
off.
about 429.
429, she said, so it'd be about 80 if you bring in good.
Voting how much more?
Around 80, we think. 70.
429 to 510 is what the estimate is.
Yeah.
It'd be
That's
80,000.
pretty good.
That's worth
Do
it.
you credit that new system?
Hey, Darrell, didn't you give us a copy of this?
You created that
When
new
you
system.
proposed your budget, didn't you have a drug fund paper just like this with you? This is
You
this it
credit
then?
that.
Yeah, I
to-
left
to
what he
use it.
budgeted in his,
Yeah.
I just updated the revenues
You
and
just
stuff.
updated revenue.
One reason our fund balance
And
went up better than we
expenditures for
thought.
this
We
year.
brought in
I thought it was all-
70 or 80,000, whatever it is.
No, he just working, we'll make more calls.
So this is the updated drug fund with the new revenue figures, updated revenue figures. And it's got what the sheriff is requesting in the drug fund.
There it is.
And we'll just look at the bottom lines. Total estimated revenue, 16,600. And expenditures, 81,394, which is spending $64,000 more than it brings in. But it'll leave a fund balance of 21,955. Out of that, he's proposing to buy a car and buy the veterinary supplies, animal food for the K-9 unit. I'm just picking out things to go up through there. And then one investigator, one part of the investigator, 16,541. Is that right? That's just a portion of an investigator's salary. Because he's not total drug. Any other questions on the drug fund for the sheriff? Do you have any more comments about it, Darrell? Miss Hilda, does that burden your bookkeeping any to have a part of something out of one fund and part of it out of another? And it's,
As long as Diane and I can work together on it.
okay. All right. Any questions, Kevin?
Nope.
Todd?
No, sir.
James? Y'all got anything else y'all want to say about the drug fund? Okay. All right. What? Now that everybody's here, let's look at the schools. Oh, solid waste. Yeah, let's do solid waste next. Yeah. What about time here? We did it last week, didn't we?
Yeah, but it's
Well,
updated.
here's the update. Have I gotten it?
Just Mark help.
I don't know. I thought I got one.
I thought I got it.
You got one, James?
Just do it. I'll find it.
How many cents we got going in that?
Just give me that.
17?
Here it is, I found it. It's one of the green highlights.
17.
Solid waste, okay. And we have updated, we went down the line items last week, so I don't see any reason of going over them all again, but with the updated numbers.
Todd said 18.
Last week, we were in the red a little bit, and this week, we're just a little bit out of red.
Hopefully.
Huh?
Hopefully.
Yeah, our estimates are.
We'll have one more BFI bill,
Okay.
so, but I've tried to factor that
What are we
in.
putting in it?
What are
18?
One thing's helped us, cardboard and metal's been high this year. I mean, that's not a good thing, but it's quite.
And it helps a little, yeah. When you're in a budget that's, and in fund balance, it's gonna be 8,000, 10,000,
How
9,000.
much we've sold probably, how much,
Last check we got from them was like 2,200,
where is it here with cardboard? There's a line.
What line item is cardboard?
but 43,106.
43,106.
What is this?
Okay,
17.
70,000.
Got $17,000 out of cardboard?
No, that's metal.
Metal and
Metal and
cardboard.
I can't remember when it was 25 a year before. There was something,
Oh, that's that year that metal got sky high.
it probably was. You know, at one time, metal, ooh, they were stealing that.
Any comments or questions on the solid waste budget?
On the 210, 211, what were we funding it? 17, 16?
All right, now wait a minute, let me think. it was 14 and they were moving money over there. From the 14, and they were moving, maybe put 2 in and then 2 more last year. But what they were doing, the commission was moving money over there. At one time, we had a big fund balance, like 1.4 million, so they said just at the end of the year, we'll move money over there. So I think in 010, it would have been 16 cents, I think.
Last year was when we put 2 more in,
Yeah.
didn't
The only thing I wish it wasn't us, there was none of us here. It wasn't the county executive, it wasn't anybody at this table. But line item 48-130,
I'll be going.
we'll see. Thank you.
All right, winter quorum.
You, yeah.
See, 48, 134.
48-130 contributions.
No.
When it was started, there should have been a inflation figure put with that.
I'll tell you
And
now,
instead of being 40 now, it'd be about 75.
the city used to oversee it also. Oh, I still wish they did. And they pulled out, so that left it with us. And I can see the city's point.
I can understand that, yeah. But see, we furnished a vehicle to drive around here, pick up that cardboard.
To get cardboard, yeah.
Okay,
Look
any
how much
questions?
money we made off of it.
Oh, yeah, it's worth going around and get.
As long as cardboard stays as high as it is, keeps it out of
And-
landfill too, so that's a double whammy there. You really gain in 2 areas.
Any other questions, Kevin, about solid waste? You wanna put another penny in it? Or leave it at 18? That's the question. Let's go to the schools. Review it. You got the school budget in front of you.
Surely you don't want to put a penny in it over 500, it's gonna have $9,000 in
Yeah,
it.
that's a half a penny, so it will be all right. Yeah, 18 will do all right this year.
I know our manager can make sure we don't need to move a penny.
That 40,000 that the city gives us, is that a contract or is that just an agreement with them or?
Agreement. They agreed to give 20,000 twice a year, and they pay up. But every
What's
time
gonna
I-
keep us from going and asking them for a little more?
Oh, we have.
Yeah.
And they just say
And
no?
they've got a good argument. I mean, think about it. They pay property taxes same as everybody else, so in a way, they kind of frown upon paying the 40. So I never have been able to get them to agree. Ricky can tell you, every time it's brought up, that's the first thing they say. Well, we pay property taxes. We're part of the county. And
And that's a valid
yeah,
argument.
it is a valid argument. I mean,
And every time they want to get something that draws sales tax, they just annex it too.
they got a dollar store.
If they left that dollar store alone, we wouldn't mind them.
No, I think
paying
the
off on this
distillery's
business.
out of reach, hopefully.
Maybe this new dollar store they're putting in up here will be too.
I hope it is.
I'd say that's gonna share out
Okay.
with 53 Market.
Yeah.
Maybe
You
pull
have
some
your
off
copy of the
this
schools,
dollar
and I'm
store.
glad Todd got his copy of the schools. Where's the other copies of the schools? Here, Diane, make sure that Bill gets these when he gets back. And where's that other copy of the schools that I had laying there? You got it for the news?
But I mean, I can give it back to.
No, we can run some. Do you need it now?
No, I don't need that.
Yeah, but you want me to go run some more?
No, no, as long as everybody here's got some. Y'all look at these.
Tommy, you got one?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I gave Tony.
Got my red Sharpie.
The schools are not asking for any more. That's the bottom line. They did figure that a penny would bring in a little bit more, whatever Donald's office told them. And, you can, from now till our next meeting, look at the schools. I don't see much change in it. Somebody may and Barbara is out of town right now, but there'll be somebody from schools here the next time that we meet to answer a question if y'all have it.
She said she'd be here next time.
Yeah. One question you might have is, why did their fund balance jump up so much last year, and I think the answer to that is they got in a grant that they didn't know whether they would get it or not. So they didn't want to plan on getting it and then miss it. But schools, they're planning on using part of their fund balance this year. Remember last year they planned on using part. Darryl, you having to go attend to business?
Hopefully not, but I'm checking.
All right.
Help me right here, Mark.
Do what now?
Help me a little bit. Just take it. I think
Well, I hadn't had it long either.
I know, that's why, I think I'm right, but I want to make sure before I take this home. Her 3 lines aren't exactly the same as the way Diane does ours. This budget 90.5 up here, the left-hand line,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm right, that is the budget that we approved last year as it was. And then this year-end estimate
Yes.
is what she's estimating she's gonna have at the end of this year.
With the 90.5.
Right.
Right.
But that's her estimate of what it's gonna be.
Right.
And then the 1213, of course, is just like our right-hand line.
Estimate of what.
The
they're
difference
gonna-
is that here, she gives you what you approved last year, but she never gives you never get to see an actual year-end 10 or 11 number.
Audited number.
You never get to see an audited number with these other numbers. So when you're looking at that, make sure you remember that you're not looking at the same, you're not looking at apples and apples on our budget. What we get with our budget is an actual audited number here to look at and compare with. Here you get what you approved as a budget. You'll never see an audited number on this budget. You still don't know what
But
you're
the
looking at.
information that we got a couple of meetings ago, showing what their actual was from audits. You remember that page that we got from CTAS?
Yes.
That showed their actual audited fund
Right.
balance.
My point is, I just don't want people looking at this and going, well, they actually had 470,000 in the local option sales tax, and because that ain't what they actually had, that's what they budgeted for. That's what we approved. That's what the
That's
budget
right.
we approved.
That's right.
You don't know what they actually took in. You never see what they actually took in, and you never see what they actually spent.
If you went back to the audited figures.
You have to go back to the audit and get it. It won't be here. She won't give it to you. That's my point.
Okay.
Be careful what you. Don't look at this like you're looking at this. It'll lie to you. Okay.
She's got here, they got.
This is
Yeah,
an estimate.
more, yeah.
This number can be anything that she wants. I keep saying she. I should say this can be
A school board.
anything they want it to be. This number could be anything they want it to
Yeah.
be. This number is what you saw.
Right.
That's the number that we had to beat them over the head again, bring back and let us see to begin with. And this number is what they're saying they're going to do.
What
this
they're
number.
at, yeah.
And then you can't do anything with this. You can just say yes or no on it. See what I mean?
Yeah.
And before one thing everybody here, I wish Todd hadn't left. Student enrollment has dropped over the last 5 years quite a bit. 192, 100 something, almost 200 kids, 70 something of them 1 year. And the state has a provision that we can drop our money that we give to the school system based on student enrollment. There's 4.5 cents there that we can move out of the school fund into county general this year. Now, if you don't do that, and student enrollment stays the same next year, you lost the opportunity. And I guess what I'm saying is everything that we've got laid out here in front of us so far has said that we're looking at a small increase, a small tax increase. And if she doesn't have the students, she doesn't have the expenses. That's why the state allows you to cut the funding. And it'd be a shame for us to increase the taxes on the property taxpayer and keep funding something that doesn't have the expenses that it had 5 years ago, or even a year ago.
What did we go up last year, a penny?
We gave her a penny.
It was 89.5, wasn't it?
That's right, went to 90.5.
Hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
I've got the actual state numbers on
We had them. We got them too.
That's, I guess that's, it. I'm not real good at holding my hand to the end. I usually lay it out on the table right off the bat. But that's, if we already passed up the opportunity more than once because of student enrollment. We're spending $531,000 more right now in the school system than the state mandates that we have to spend. And you can say, and I agree that we shouldn't only give what the mandate is. You know, if we've got the money, we ought to pay the money. But when you're a county our size is laying out over $500,000 more than what the state says you have to hand them, that's pretty generous. And especially when the enrollment has went down as much as it has in the last 5 years, it keeps pointing back to the fact that we don't have the kids that we did have, but yet we keep putting the money out there to educate that same number of kids, but we don't have that many kids.
Do they have any idea what the population of 3- and 4-year-olds that are coming in? Do they research that at all?
I don't, and I can't say what anybody researches or not, but I know that this year, because of the enrollment number, there's a state provision out there that we can back up 99,000 some odd dollars off their what we fund, and that's 4.5 cents. Yeah, you could make it an even nickel, and then and that gives you 100,000 more to go into the general fund to cover some of these. When I fix to say that to cover, if you wanted to give a 3% raise, that'd help cover that. You know, you're just 58,000. That would really help that.
What does she have in here on raises? Do we know that?
3%.
And a side note to the raise thing, though, there were raises given in the school system last year. Those non-certified employees, she kept telling us that she wanted to give them a raise, but they weren't going to get a raise, and they were the only people in the county that never got a raise, and she couldn't give them a raise.
Got a raise?
They did. And she told you and me that she didn't. There was no money there anywhere, anyhow, to give them a raise. She didn't give it to them with that penny. So I guess
the school board. I go back to the elected school board had to
approve
vote
it
to do all that.
I agree. I don't mean to. I say she because part of me thinks I shouldn't say that, but hey, she took the job. You know, she's the one that does all the talking.
The line for support services, that's where it is. That's where your non-certified employees are.
Support services,
Mm-hmm.
page 3.
Somewhere under there. That's not it.
No.
That ain't it.
That's not it. Non-certified substitutes, here we go. No, that's under regular instruction.
Operation of plant,
All right, what page is it
custodial
on?
personnel, 6 of 8,
6, okay.
72610.
Oh, here it is, custodial personnel.
That's it.
258, and then went back to 238, but we don't know that, that's the same figure.
That's right. And you don't know, it may not be the same figure, but they may have let one go.
They're
That's what they
estimating
did. They
that
let
this year gonna
a
spend
couple go,
241.
And they didn't rehire
They
at
let-
that particular school. I forget, she mentioned that in the Board of
And
Education
then
meeting
took the money
Saturday.
that's left over and
The salary, if I remember right, she was asking for a 3% increase on the non-certified,
Mm-hmm.
but the state mandated for the certified personnel, the teachers, was 2% this year.
1.6.
Was it
What, oh, this year's
1.6?
for
Yeah,
two?
yeah, it was 2%.
It was 1.6 last year.
Well, she put it in that's what they said in budget. So,
The state mandated on that.
state mandated, I believe, was 2%. I've got it in my news story in the paper. Whatever I put in the paper, that's what it was.
Man, they don't
If
need
Kevin
to
put it in
yet.
there, I don't know. But that was state mandated, but she was looking for non-certified because she said that they hadn't had a raise in.
The non-certified is
yeah.
3%.
That's what she said.
So they didn't get any money last year?
That's what she says.
Okay.
But you said that nickel's 93,000 or so.
It's 99,000 for 4.5 cents.
Okay. Which if you did that, you're still, the fund balance would still be higher than the budgeted fund balance of this year. Their budgeted fund balance.
Yeah.
620.
Yeah.
So it'd still be above that, so, yeah, I mean, all the way around, yeah, it makes sense.
It doesn't, to me, it doesn't make any sense to keep, if the enrollment numbers were going up, the state would make us give them more money.
Right.
The enrollment numbers are going down and the state says you can give them less money if you want to. Now, if you don't, it'll pass you by and you don't get the opportunity again. And it doesn't make sense to me to sit here and wait for them to go up and then make us give them more money and not take the opportunity to.
But in theory, you could end, back to Mark's question of, you know, you take a nickel away and enrollment jumps next year and give a nickel back too.
Right.
I mean, probably
You
not
could.
probably not gonna happen, but I
Would you
mean,
be
it's-
forced to?
No, because you're already
Because we're already
$531,000.
enough above the minimum that we wouldn't be forced to.
We won't have to put another penny in there until that 531 runs out, one way or the other.
Hey, Kevin.
Now, here's that,
It's actually, they're over 654,898. They got figured out, they told me. So
This is getting better.
do what?
it's actually, you got the funding 654,898 over.
Okay, back to my point that I made a while ago. Kevin, when you was talking about the 3 lines there, here's this page that we got from CTAS a few weeks ago. On 6/30/2011, they budgeted a fund balance of 666, and then they had a beginning fund balance on the adopted budget though of 1.31367, which was a variance of $820,000.
The adopted budget is the budget that we approved. Yeah. So it was only $800-something off what they told us, what they thought it was gonna be.
That's right. Now the I'll give them, the cafeteria fund was the other direction though. It was 28.
Yeah.
Less than they
And
thought.
she was up here working on that.
And then
day.
the county general C was out of $600,000 with just $42,000 variance in it, which is, you know, less than 10%.
That's pretty tight.
That's pretty tight. But that $820,000 variance would be 40 cents.
Correct.
Any other comments or questions?
And you're giving them 30 of that more than you have to.
We don't want the teachers all in here.
I don't know how many teachers are in the county, but there's,
Are they
as
the
my
biggest-
grandma used to say, there's way yonder more taxpayers than they are teachers.
Are they can they say they're the biggest employer in the county?
I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're the biggest employer.
Yeah, you can't find them.
You can't.
True.
Have you ever talked to anybody that tried to?
True.
I sat here in the courtroom watching them try to one time. Okay, anything else that needs to come before us tonight, Dane?
I got something for you before you close up.
Okay.
I just want to do a little thinking here. We spent some time working on this. But before I
Now,
even
what's your
start-
name? Tell
I am
us.
Jordan McGee.
Jordan
Most
McGee.
people know me around here.
Go right ahead.
I just wanted to ask something real quick. What does the ambulance service, a medic, start out in Cannon County at? A yearly salary?
About 35.
About 35. What are they top out at?
35.
35,000. Okay. So Kevin said earlier that Cannon County is not comparable to other counties surrounding us, which is true to a certain state except for Rutherford County Medic would start out and top out around $39,000, which is only $4,000 more than Cannon County. So you go figuring all that in, we are somewhat comparable to surrounding counties. We put together this little board here earlier today, and I'll start on the opposite side here. But this is for the sheriff's department. You take your deputies, and the sheriff's department. We start out at $10.50 an hour and top out at $12.36. But when you go to Rutherford, they're topping out at $19.52.
What are they starting at?
They're starting at $14.25. Their jailers or corrections officers in Rutherford County, where we have that at, they are starting out at $12.36, which is more than a deputy in Cannon County makes. Their top out is based per performance. So the better performing they are, there's not really a maximum they make. So along with performances, they get raises, and I guess if you move up in the company, you get a raise. Wilson County Sheriff's Department starts out at $18.65 an hour, topping out at $24 an hour. Coffee is $12.62. There's no top out. They get a 3% raise every 2 years. Warren County starts at $13.64, tops out at $15.46. DeKalb starts at $12.87 and tops out at $15.37. So the people who are leaving Cannon County to go work somewhere else are not going to a comparable county, such as Trousdale County might be the size of us with the same industry rate and the same revenue. They're going to everyone that surrounds us that's not a far drive and making a ton more money. All the jailers or corrections officers, DeKalb starts at $11.50, tops at $12.79. Coffee starts out $12.50, tops at $12. Wilson starts at $13 and they top out through promotions. There's not really a set amount they top out at. Warren starts at $12.34 and tops out at $14.16. So everybody that's comparable to the Cannon County, they're not leaving to go there. They're going around the counties who are making a ton more than we are. On the back, we've taken a 2-week pay, which is a straight 84-hour pay with your taxes, and the only thing that's taken out of this that some may not have taken out is your 5191, which is your state retirement, which now I think it's mandated that everybody in the state does. Whenever you go to figure your insurance, a single person's insurance for the cheapest that you can get, which I don't know what the deductibles are, but they're $58. Next is $58.63, $111.76, $203.16. That's for a single, not married, I have my own insurance. So you go taking $203 out a month when you only have $808 left over on a week. This is a 2-week pay. So $1,616 is what you're going to have. You're taking over $200 out just for insurance in that month. But if you have a family, let's say 1 employee and 1 child, $448 is what it's going to cost them to insure their children. Them and their wife, $844.42, and a whole family is going to cost $1,369 per month to insure you, your wife, and your family. So with $808 every 2 weeks on your check, which is $1,600, we did a little more fixed. And if you go to pay a house payment, roughly about $600 a month for a decent sized house. Electricity is probably $150, water $20, natural gas is $45. Your insurance on your house probably $120 a month. Then you have your foods and supplies such as toiletries and clothing and must-have, which would probably be around $600 a month. Altogether, that's $1,535 a month, which would be $767.50 every pay period. You take that, you have $41.27 left at the end of your pay period after you pay your bills if you're trying to have a family and a decent life. That's not really much. But Kevin said earlier, we're not comparable to other counties around us. But the ambulance service in Rutherford County is only making $4,000 more a year than they are here. Take a sheriff's department, which is making top out around $42,000 as a deputy in Rutherford County. We're topping out at $26,000. That's $15,000 different. but the ambulance, which would be comparable, is on 4. I just wanted to put that in front of everybody's, where they can see it and show that we are comparable to our surrounding counties.
I want to make another little statement to that effect too. Not knocking the school system, I wish them the best in the world. But I have to hear from parents, teachers, and everybody else about the problems they have with the kids. The sheriff's department don't deal with the kids, they deal with the kids, the moms and dads, the grandmas, grandpas, the aunts and uncles. I've got 13,000, whatever the population is in this county that me and my guys are responsible for. Me and this man right here average anywhere 78 hours a week. Have been higher than that, but we tried to slack down just a little. Now some of the other guys are putting their selves out there for nothing. They sort of like where they work. They take pride in it. But it seems like this county ain't going to take pride in what they got. And I'm going to lose people. So we're going to have to do some up and in somewhere, because it costs $7,700, over $7,700 to lose a man for 10 weeks going to the county. I guess I am trusting, but we need some help.
Why would somebody leave DeKalb County to come work for Canton and make
There ain't none of these
half?
people gonna come back to Kansas County to work. We don't have to. Ain't had a raise in 5 years. That woman right there works as hard as anybody in that office over there. She's my lifeline. If it wasn't for her and a couple more over there, I couldn't take my job, I couldn't handle it. Because I couldn't process.
And she stayed through multiple administrations too.
Right.
And that's good.
My job.
And, hey, I'm gonna fight for it.
I don't blame you. And I appreciate you bringing this to our attention. Now, one comment I'd like to make is that we increased taxes in the face last year of a lot of opposition, and most of that increase, went to the sheriff. A lot of that increase, I won't say most of it because I'm not certain about it. A lot of it went to the sheriff's department, and we're trying to help the sheriff's department out, and we're taking very serious consideration of the increases that
Which is 3%,
that Darrell gave us this year.
which figures out to $808.08 per year, which does not make up for your insurance. It doesn't make up for the extra food, so you can't buy a house living over there and working there. You can't live in this county, buy a house, and work in this county
On that one salary.
on that one salary.
That's right. But now, my wife's worked for 30-something years.
I don't have a
now.
wife,
I
and I'm
understand.
trying to make do with what I have.
I understand that. And another point is,
How much should we pay you?
$12.36 an hour.
You can buy a house and live in this county on $12.36 an hour?
Well, depends on how big of a house you buy. Because by the time you figure out your house payment, your electricity, your water, on one salary, you can pay for it, but you don't live much of a life and you don't have insurance. Luckily enough for me, I'm still young enough to be on my parents' insurance.
Well, I know, but you said
But you said earlier we're not comparable to other counties.
we are not.
$4,000 difference on a medic's pay from this county to Rutherford, which is 4 times the size of us.
Ambulance service is gonna bring in $510,000 in revenue this year.
I can't help that. I can't help that we're in a business we can't
And I
bring
don't,
revenue
and
in.
I can't tell you why they make what they make. I mean,
Can you tell me why we make what we make?
yeah, because the money never does get, you don't get a raise without everybody else in the county getting a raise. That's what it is. And
I'm not
for some
trying to
reason or
throw Ricky
another,
under the
for some
bus.
reason, we haven't figured out a way for us to sit up here and say, these guys need a raise and the rest of y'all don't.
The school system.
We just ain't figured out how to do that
Last
yet.
budget year, and I asked Barbara in front of all of you, do the schools get a raise each year? She said yes.
Yeah,
Through the state, on top
state
of whatever,
mandates that.
on top of whatever the county gives them.
It ain't. what
That's the trick.
state
Now,
mandates, it's-
when's the last time
it's
the
her
county gave them a raise?
each year.
I don't have a copy of past budgets. I'm just saying,
Been a while.
how can you justify, and I'm not throwing Ricky and his guys under the bus, they do a great job, we couldn't live in this county without them. They do an awesome job, but how can you justify paying, 30,000, 35,000 over there and 20 over here. What's the difference? When they go on a bad call, who has to put their self on the line to clear the scene before the ambulance gets there?
It's a good point.
Who's getting shot at?
Are y'all, I mean,
When they have a bad call, the sheriff's department goes while they stand by to clear the scene so they can come in and do their job.
And I've got another question. I'm a firm believer in you pay what you pay, you know, whatever you get is what you pay for it. Everybody that's over there at the department any given day, we have the right to take a person's life. Okay, that is our job. Why would you want to take some of the lowest paid people in the county and give them that responsibility? If you want quality people, you're gonna have to pay for them. There's not a lot of people beating down our door for what we pay.
If I didn't live in this county and appreciate it, then I wouldn't want to work there for what it is. It's not worth the risk for the pay. You have to figure out the other benefits of improving the county you live in and wanting to take care of it in Carrington. You know,
That's why we're always a training ground. We have a high turnover rate over there because people will come here. The county spends money to send them to the county and get them trained, and then within 3 months, they go to another county making $3 more an hour. Why wouldn't
does
you?
the 3% get you to you $15 that you said?
nope. 3% gets you $808 a year.
What's that put you to?
It's 37% an hour raise, $12.36. I've got it written on here somewhere.
Well, if you need 15,
Well, we're trying to be reasonable. I know there ain't nobody gonna bring them up to $15 an hour. I mean, that's ridiculous to even think that.
But, you know, it just seems like there could have been more that could have been done over the past 5 years to put us comparable with other counties. That way we're not spending $7,700 on a person just so they can turn around and go somewhere else. So $7,700 divided into a person's salary comes out to a pretty substantial raise to keep them here so they don't leave.
That's right, and that figure has gone up over the years, what it costs to go to the academy. You know, they charge us more and more, the state has charged us more and more. It's getting more into our pockets now. Used to, you know, 15 years ago, when somebody left and went to Rutherford County, you didn't have as much invested in them as you do now. And it's a different ballgame now.
And not to knock anybody, like Gordon was saying, I think Ricky and his crew do a great job to work with them all the time. Their certification is what, Ricky, 9 months, one day out of the month for 9 months, and then you have a yearly certification.
On the EMT first, it takes about 8 months, and the paramedic takes about 14, so you're looking at about 22, 23 months.
And how much do you go every day for that 22 months?
2 days a week, doing the class work, and then when it comes to clinical time, you got to put in another 2 days. So anywhere from 2 to 4 days a week.
Whenever I went through my EMT school, I did it 9 months, 1 day a week, plus my clinical, which I did with Ricky. I did them over there at Camden County Ambulance Service through the EMT process.
how many deputies and jailers have you got? Oh, you know, off the top of your head.
Deputies be
9 deputies, 2 investigators, chief deputy,
I ain't worried about them investigators.
and you got 10 correctional officers.
21 altogether. Is that right? 92 and something.
I mean, 3% is awesome, it's better than nothing. But there's people who've been over there for 5 years that deserve a whole lot more.
Take that
I would
deputy-
like to
take
see
that
the
deputy
county
to schools and give them
sometime
$2.40 raise.
get a pay scale for county employees and.
You just put them up there and make them what they want to
If
pay.
you put everybody on the same page of music.
We need to do something about their insurance too.
Well,
Give them $2.40,
the
they can take
the
their
people
own
dodging
insurance.
bullets, though, their pay scale ought to be a little bit higher than the ones that are sitting over here in the courthouse in the office.
Well,
You know, but I understand what you're saying. Joe Young was on this commission
$12.36.
12 years ago, I think it
Told me that
was.
4 times.
And he advocated that same
Which is
thing back
less than
then.
what jailers are
To,
starting.
you know,
Corrections officers.
have some kind of thing that you,
Corrections officers.
this is what we pay, and then there's so, an increase every so many years.
Go get him a yard to mow every week.
Well, some places have longevity pay increases.
They said no.
After you've been with them 5 years, you get a little bit,
$15 raise here. Yeah,
another raise.
you give them that, that's close.
I don't have that many
14 cents away.
senior officers over there.
You got one department that don't need it.
I think Reed Branson's probably the oldest
You got another department
there.
that need it for a long time.
Then
People go
probably
crazy to
yours
get it
up.
today.
Thank you for coming. The reason I got you to say your name was for the recording here, so.
That's fine.
So it would know who was.
Well, you know, I probably
Make sure you
should have
don't
done
do
that
it at
myself,
bonus.
but it means more coming from somebody that's working there
Bonus.
and doing that every day. It would mean more to y'all in reality, one of the guys saying it than it will be me. Y'all expect me to say something like that? Really, I had some more that wanted to come tonight, but things happened.
Well, we had more that we wanted to come tonight too. I wish everybody on the budget, I wish everybody on the commission could have, you know, looked at those figures and listened to what the other counties pay and see that we're, I think, woefully inadequate.
You know,
Can you whittle that down and put that on some paper like this where you can hand it out to the rest of the commissioners?
I'll be happy to come back. I can type it up and get it to
Well, for one thing, I don't know if somebody's told y'all that that you ain't gonna get your 3%.
no,
When
it
you brought,
ain't that, Kevin.
you brought your budget to us, first thing I thought was I can't imagine telling him no when the budget that size and he comes to us with $34,000. To me,
I tried
I was
every way in
impressed
the
with
world to cut corners, and I owe a lot to Doug Mosey right there, because he's helped me every way else. So, I've been criticized for it, I've been cussed out over it, I've been threatened a time or two. I'm not worried about threats, there ain't too many that's got the nerve to stand up and try it. You know, and
But I don't know that, I can't sit here and say
that
that this budget committee is gonna hack at 3%. And I'm hoping this budget committee can get to the point to where they can say, we're gonna do it for these and these don't do it.
I think, and what I think is, because I've listened to Jordan, he wanted to be explained the budget, he wanted to understand it, which is more than most. And he just wanted to say what he had to say and show us and stuff.
I'm not asking for this, it's just a little something y'all look at and see if you're interested in it. 'Cause I've been doing a little,
Rodney King.
it's
He
not
died
going
last
to California.
week. He died last week.
I know it.
But it's a little something that
All them concussions.
I've been trying to figure out ways to go about, and I'm hurting on vehicles. I really am. One of the patrol cars, I give y'all a list, I think there was 10 on there. We've lost one since I gave you the list, the motor's gone. And it's got 200-something thousand miles, the frame's wore out. It's been pieced together all I can piece it together. I'll even let you look at it. I'm not asking for this, I'm just asking y'all to look at it and get some ideas, see if you can help me out. Because if we don't do something, we're fixing to wind up spending a bunch of money on some vehicles. I've got
What's that
one that I
mean?
can-
What does no mileage restriction mean, no penalties?
You know, a
for
lot of
wear?
leases you can't put but so many miles or
Okay.
something on it. This is unrestricted. This is through forward. The only thing I don't like about it is the 6% interest. And I figured y'all gonna look at it and not like it too.
I don't like that lease word.
Well,
That just scares
at the
me to
end
death.
of 3 years, you buy it for $1. So.
But how many
yeah,
times have you paid for it before you get there?
Well, this is figured on, I think, 5 vehicles.
Yeah,
And the total cost is $134,700, I think, for 3 years. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of money. And it is a lot of money. But this thing is loaded with everything we need but a cage and a radio and lights.
It's how many vehicles? 5?
5.
Okay.
5 for 137,000 a piece?
No.
No,
That's for the total over the
26.8
3-year lease.
apiece.
You're looking at 6% interest per year. That's
If we get the plane, we can get them 26, but if we get the extras, that the spotlights, rear air, I don't have to have rear air, I can cut some of that. The only time I need rear air is on the K9 unit. And I've got a good K9 unit, I don't need to replace it. But everything's set up for us to add what we need extra. That's just something to look at. A capital outlay note might be even cheaper as far as interest wise, you know. I'm sure it will be interest wise, but I'm getting in a bind on cars. It's been put off too long. Yes, I am going to try to get some out of the drug fund, but I can't buy them all out of the drug fund.
The vehicle you had that you was gonna get off of somebody else,
City.
yeah, is it still in the works?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they told me it's mine. We're arguing on the price right now.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure I can get what I've got up down. The chief's good with it, I'm sure Michael will be.
That's fine.
How much is the vehicle if you come in with cash, in other words, no leasing, no finance, how much is it per vehicle?
It's going with what you get on it.
Well, I mean,
You get the extra
apple to apple.
package on it.
No, I'm just talking about what you're saying. You're saying you want these 5 vehicles, and lease-wise, it's gonna be 26,000 a vehicle. But if you come in with cash,
No,
how much?
what you're doing is paying 6% interest, what it amounts to.
Okay.
Instead of paying straight out of the pot.
So what you would save would be
It's 25.3.
if you did a
25.
You did a note for
something, I think, it was
25.
1.9%, like you get on the fire truck, you'd save 4%
But the
on it.
sticker on the one that we're talking about right here
It's 31.
is 31.
But that's all the
4% on
the
100,000,
brails,
you'd say
brails and whistles, and I don't
$4,500.
have to have that. I can cut some of that out. But he gave me a general idea, and he said that, they can do better with what extra we don't want. I would love to put spotlights on the vehicles, and it's not, everybody's got into putting spotlights on. It's better to do it at the factory. It's simpler to do it at the factory than it is to bring it here and try to put one in, because if you ain't got that seal right when it's done, it causes you major problems.
Yeah, the factory's the best way to do that.
But I can do it without spotlights. We don't have spotlights on the other SUVs right now, but at night, for the night guys, it's amazing.
I think that's dangerous not having.
Okay. Anything else, Darrell?
No.
I appreciate y'all coming. I appreciate you serving the county and being willing to stand up for what you're doing too.
Well, I told my wife I was either going to get booted out in 4 years, or I was going to make this county proud of the sheriff department they got, and we're trying our best every day to do it.
That's the way you should be. Anything else, Kevin? Tony?
No.
Garden looking good, Sheriff.
It is. It's producing good too.
He must be
We'll
putting
meet,
city water on it.
Y'all ain't got a freezer on the way.
River water.
There'll
water.
be a commissioners meeting Thursday night.
That's why Paskins want everybody to quit using the water, ain't it?
The
Daryl's
next
company.
budget meeting, next Tuesday night, we're gonna be over here, hopefully, sitting on green grass, watching fireworks.
That's true. About the green grass, but that is fireworks night, isn't it?
And so,
What are they gonna do when they have to call that off? For
They might.
well, that'd be bad. We'll just listen to the music and
They've
pretend
already-
like we're seeing something.
They've already put a state thing out to
wouldn't doubt it.
let everybody, all the private citizens shouldn't be pulling off fireworks.
The,
I said the fire chief.
can you
something
be here
yesterday.
any Thursdays? But what are we doing that you have to be here on now?
Fire department's at 7.
I've got computers
Can we,
for sale.
can we make it without you one meeting?
Of
Or
course
we
you
want to
can.
stay
Like
on
the fire
Tuesdays?
department,
No, I
Balzer
don't
Fire
care.
Department, they were
Well, I
wanting a
can't-
line item, $7,000 for
I
computer
don't,
systems.
I don't want us to
So
need.
keep that in mind.
Well,
when you-
Something that Mike can't.
They done that, they do better now.
Well,
When are we gonna meet
they know,
next?
They know.
When?
What, you like Tuesday nights?
I don't care.
We're gonna meet back here. I wish,
Has everybody done
Chairman
turned in their
Stetson.
budget now?
huh?
Has everybody done turned in their budget now?
Yeah, everybody's turned in their budget and we're through, going through everything. The schools are in and we're gonna meet 2 weeks from tonight.
So we're not meeting the 5th.
All right, or do we wanna meet the 5th of July? Which is it?
Doesn't matter to me, Mark.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
Actually, I think I could come that night.
The 5th of July?
Yeah, I don't think they.
Let's
play
meet
that
on the
night.
5th of July.
Okay.
Is that all right, Kevin?
Mhm.
All right, James?